Let me tell you something. Just like they tried on the 2016 election with a totally fabricated con job, what they did in 2020 was far worse, and much more sophisticated, more highly sophisticated.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they were in control of the entire country, so they had an ability to look into all these places and oh, right, I forgot you were president.
They were.
You know what also happened while you were president? Last year, murder rates went up 30%. Over 2019, which seems odd.
This for 4 years, and we were given a few weeks to find out what they did. We knew it was fake. We knew what they were doing, but we were given a very small part of time. We didn't get any help from Mitch McConnell. We didn't get any help from that guy.
Yes, boo Republicans. Yay.
Attacked and cheated on our elections, and they did it right here in Georgia also, right here in Georgia. Now the people of Georgia must replace the rhinos and weak Republicans who made it.
Yes, attack rhinos and Republicans. Please continue to do this. I support this part of the speech 100%.
Possible. In particular, you're incompetent and strange. I had something wrong with this guy. You're Secretary of State.
Something's wrong with this guy. What's wrong with him? Besides the fact that he's a Republican, so clearly he has mental deficiencies and some sort of illness, I'm guessing. I don't want to be ableist about it, but obviously he's crazy go nuts. This guy, this Raffensperger, which sounds like a Nazi sandwich to me. I don't know.
Raffensperger.
Or Raffensperger. Say it however you want.
I'm telling you, I think there's something wrong with him. We give him so much. Could you look at this? Could you look at that? Election integrity, could you? And sometimes, yes, I'm going to look at it. Nothing ever happens.
Well, because they looked at it and it was bullshit.
Raffensperger, something really strange with him. You terrible Lieutenant Governor.
I think he's probably part of a cabal, some sort of a cabal, right? That they have to be, right? They must be a part of it. Hold on one second to see if this, like a cabal of evil people. 1 second, I'm going to add something to this. Yeah, that'll do. Think, yeah, here we go. Done. There we go.
What?
He's obviously part of a baby-eating cabal of he's probably a Democrat. Loves coffee. You can
What?
tell, I don't know why they went with Pizzagate, because clearly it's Coffeegate, because all these people got coffee for him, and you know, and obviously there's got to be some ties to, you know, Nazi Germany with a name like
What?
that. Obviously. He's a pagan. That's a good point. Yeah, pagan lizard people. Probably eats, you know, baby milkshakes.
What?
I'm going to guess. Yeah, it's good that you call him out. Thanks. Yeah, and he's a communist. And a Marxist. And he's probably woke now. He's probably woke all of a sudden.
He's no longer running because he knew that he wasn't doing a job he was going to lose. And your rhino governor, Brian Kemp, who's been a complete disaster on election integrity. A complete and total. And I'm not looking to say that.
No, of course not. I mean, just listen to Stacey Abrams years ago.
I'm not looking to say that. He's been
I'm not looking to say that. I'm saying it.
Complete and total disaster on election integrity. If you go...
What is... He's been a complete and total... This is the sentences we just heard. He's a complete and total disaster on election integrity. I'm not looking to say that. But he's been a total... a complete
With
total
a complaint
disaster.
about election integrity, you get investigated instead of investigating a crooked election. It's the craziest.
It's the craziest.
And you know, and some of you know this story.
Yeah.
I was called by a very good friend.
You don't have any original stories. A very good friend. It's which one do you think it is, guys? We should have like a big spinning wheel that we can do. Like, I'm going to go tack, 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 tack. Guy that told him he only needed 6 million more votes to win, and he would 65 million and he'd be back in the White House. That story? Or tack, 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 tack. I was told at 10:30 on election night that I'd already won, and then we went to bed even though he was up all night.
Someone who happens to be here tonight Sir, could you please endorse? I think we're 148-2 with endorsements. They like my endorsement. It's never happened before. Sir, could you?
Yeah, because you only endorse people that are a shoo-in, and you get pissed when they don't win. You don't give a shit who they are or what they're for. They just have to show fealty and be the front runner, and you'll sign off on them because it's about your record. This is like the cruise ship full of people with COVID. He's like, I don't want these Americans brought to shore. They'll fuck up my numbers.
Please endorse Brian Kemp. I said, who the hell is Brian Kemp? This is at the beginning. There were 4 or 5, I think it's 5, but there were 5 guys, 5 people running, 5 men were running. And
We'll leave that.
he was in last place, doing poorly, and I made the mistake.
Well, you know, what was The Apprentice all about? But you spotting talent and hiring all the right people, all the best people, and firing anybody immediately who didn't match up, who wasn't of quality, who wasn't didn't meet that standard of hashtag the best people. If they did that, you're fired. Even though you never fired anybody, you always put it off to other people. Like, the weirdest thing is, I mean, I can't even say the weirdest thing. There's so many weird things about this, but he literally outsourced his firing of people because he was too chicken to do it with fucking everybody that left his administration, and he ran on the fired bullshit.
I listened to this gentleman, who's a great guy, actually, and I said, how well do you know him? Well, did he ever say anything bad about me? You know, when they say bad things about me, I have a tendency not to endorse them.
Well, yeah, you're a weak-kneed sycophant of your own reflection.
Sometimes I do, because it's better than a Democrat, right?
Yeah, or they're going to win and you want the win.
But I said, did he ever say anything bad? We checked, and it was nothing bad. You know, he hadn't been too deep into politics, I guess. Otherwise, he probably would have. But he didn't say anything bad. I said, you know what? I'll endorse him. I endorsed Brian Kemp. The primary was like immediately following the endorsement, immediately. And he won. He ends up going from last place, or just about last place, to winning in a landslide. Then I had to get him past good old Stacey. I had to get him past Stacey. He said, sir, and we had, I guess, 2 rallies. One had 52,000 people, one had 49,000 people.
Same people.
The big monster rallies at the airport, because no arena could hold the people. And they weren't there for him, they were there for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were there because they were lonely cultists in need of a shot of adrenaline and desperately seeking someone to give them direction in their life. And so that's why they hop in Winnebagos and RVs and travel around the country, deadheading, watching your bullshit over and over and over again.
And Stacey Abrams, who still has not conceded, and that's okay. Stacey, would you like to take his place? It's okay with me. She still has not conceded, but we had...
We don't want her! Somebody yelled, and he's like, hey. Watch what... I can't wait to hear what he's gonna say, because it's a bunch of weird bullshit. Here we go.
She still has not conceded, but we had, just so you understand.
That's it. That's what you get.
We had the most incredible rallies, and I said, Brian, you're going to win. Oh, I don't think so. No, you're going to win.
Well, I mean, obviously, the most incredible rallies that were free.
I'm telling you, and he ended up winning by like 2 points, right? And then when I called him about election integrity, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I can't do that. I said, no.
I called him about integrity. Come on, do integrity. Make integrity happen. Come on, do the integrity dance.
No. Yeah, actually, it was very interesting.
Trump gains. he doesn't get more popular. Nobody else is calling him out on this bullshit, and I'm not going to let it slide.
Called my people. I say, we got to find out what happened with this election because there's something wrong with this election, as you obviously
Well, yeah, you were in it.
know. And has been covered by, other than the fake news, has been covered pretty good. But if these guys would come back, young guys.
Other than the fake news. He means Lindell TV.
We spoke to Governor Kemp. Sir, he will not do anything on election integrity. I said, no, you can't. Don't just call him again. No, I mean, maybe he never got the message.
Well, he obviously did because he was ready to record the call when you called back.
They come back the next day, sir.
Jesus, he's really laying the sir thing on thick. My guess is it's annoying him lately that fewer and everybody's like, President Trump or Donald, the Donald, or people are back to calling him Donald. His friends who were calling him sir while he was president are back to calling him Donald. I'm kidding, not friends. Business ticks. But it's bugging him clearly.
Governor Kemp won't do anything on election integrity. Remember, we wanted to call a special election so that we could go, Marjorie, so we could go into election integrity.
That's how you do it. That's how it's done. I mean, most of the time, we'll call a special election so we can go into election integrity.
So that we could go, Marjorie, so we could go into election integrity. What is wrong with that?
Well, it's legally ridiculous, and it was based on fart air. No one knows what the fuck you're talking about. Can we call a special election to go into election integrity? What? How do you? What are you even broaching? As what would be on the? Would it be like, check this box if you like Trump, check this box. If you don't like Trump, there's a gun under your seat.
And he said no, we won't. And I think the governor is the only one that can call it, right? And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. So when these guys, no, he isn't. What do you mean? Yes, Fung P, exactly. Who is calling? What are you talking about? He doesn't have the right to call a random special election to redo it because you lost. Nice guys. They came back. They said, he won't do it, sir. I said, let me handle it. This is easy. I got this guy elected. One thing has nothing to do with the other. One thing has nothing. There's no quid pro quo.
But he was hoping there would be. Asshole, that's exactly what you're expecting. This is, I mean, if there's anything more Trump than this, which is, I'm not saying there's a quid pro quo, but if he doesn't do it, there's going to be damage. Like this, like low end, like CW Sopranos knockoff mafia bullshit.
Remember that word from the fake Ukraine deal? The fake Ukraine. We had Russia, Ukraine. They were both fake deals, okay? I got impeached twice on fake news.
Yeah, that's how it worked. That's pretty much what happened. Yeah. I mean, that's how the historians will look at it. They'll look back on what was he actually impeached for? Fake news, apparently.
But I said to these young people, let me handle it. I was going to show them how good I am. I'll call him up. I said, Brian, listen, you have a big election integrity problem in Georgia.
And he said, no, we don't.
Hope you can help us out and call a special election, and let's get to the bottom of it for the good of the country. Let's get to the bottom of it for the good of your state. Let's go, election integrity. What could be better than that? Sir, I'm sorry. I cannot do that. Whoa. I said,
whoa. Yeah, that's how it went down. Whoa. What, did you suddenly turn into Jim Ignatowski? The fuck is that?
Than that. Sir, I'm sorry. I cannot do that. Whoa.
Whoa.
Said you cannot do that. And that's why, let me tell you, this guy's a
Oh, that made sense. I'm sorry. I didn't realize the whoa actually trailed off into nonsense. Listen to this.
What could be better than that? Sir, I'm sorry. I cannot do that. Whoa. I said, you cannot do that. And that's why, let me tell you, this guy's a disaster.
That's just that way to bring it back. Yeah, when in doubt, just whip out disgrace or disaster or unbelievable. Basically, these are your savior words, Mr. Former President, Reverend Jim. Oh, we got to do something about election integrity.
Disaster. They ignore, and you know, he's been a real.
He tried to go back to the teleprompter and did like that. Look, see, his eyes are at the teleprompter.
They ignore, and you know, he's been a real horrible. I could have.
Bring it back around. I mean, sometimes when if you're heading towards the ground and you're pulling up on the stick, you know what I mean? Maybe you need, I know it seems counterintuitive, but you're heading right into bedrock and the plane is basically pointing straight down. Maybe it's time to put a little more, to actually, you know, give it some throttle and then pull back. Because if you pull back on the throttle and you're trying to do this, you have no direction on it. You can't, you're going to get more drag than, you know, you can't just yank up and turn the engine. You have to, or just eject. I think in this, like, love it. He had a button on his fucking desk that he was like, we need to work on election integrity. I can't do that. And he just, like, his seat just throws straps on him and just ejects him like a fighter pilot.
Else, you have another bad one, by the way. You have another bad one, Ducey in Arizona. He's another beauty. But not as bad as what you have here. Not as bad.
Why? Because he wasted everyone's time and spent a bunch of taxpayer money and ruined a bunch of machines. But this is the part, by the way, this is the part where we're probably going to get some of the sweet Arizona juice out of this aging lemon.
They ignored monumental evidence of rampant fraud.
Translation, there was none.
We've all seen the video of ballots being pulled out from under the tables after kicking out all of the observers. Remember that?
Yes, and those were legitimate ballots, and they end up getting processed. There was no fake votes. There were no voters that weren't counted. Those are real human beings who were expressing their desire for either Biden or you. No one can say.
Based on a made-up story of, sir, there's a major water main break, clean out, right?
Yeah, that's how it went. Sir, there a major what? What?
Of, sir, there's a major water main break, clean out, right?
Yeah, that's how it went down. That's basically the story. I mean, there's a 6-hour difference between the two. The other one was about people finishing their work before they went home, and the water main break happened at 6 a.m. the next day and was handled in 2 hours and didn't stop any of the counting at all. But tell us the story again. How'd it work?
Taking out all of the observers. Remember that? Based on a made-up story of, sir, there's a major water main break, clean out, right? Water main break.
Clear out. What is that? That's what you should say to people. You'd say, clear out, everybody. You wouldn't say clean out because they wouldn't leave. They would pull out dustbusters and just, guys, leave. We're trying to steal an election here. And these assholes are sweeping. I don't know why. You're the one that told them to clean out. I meant clear out. Shit.
It never happened. Remember they said, water main break, everybody get out. And then the people came back in and they were stuffing stuff.
Yeah, they were stuffing stuff. That's exactly how it happened.
Everybody get out. And then the people came back in and they were stuffing stuff.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. I mean, now, granted, stuffing stuff is not admissible in a court of law. You know, is there first and second degree stuffing stuff? Is it any relation to HR puffing stuff? Is HR stuffing stuff? Fuck. This is, please God, let him write a history book. My time in the White House as I see it. And somebody needs to write a Trump Oh, I might have to do it, like myself, which is take all of his stories and put them in like my story, the Donald Trump unauthorized biography of my time in the White House. And it's literally just his speeches where he would ramble on, sir. Guy walks in, sir, they're going to destroy everything. And I was like, they're not going to destroy everything. It would be, I mean, shit. They were stuff.
Water main break that never happened. Remember they said, water main break, everybody get out. And then the people came back in and they were stuff. What supposedly caused the vote counting to be shut down for hours and hours, so everyone was out except for these people that were on tape.
No. Asshat. You're in the state where this shit happened. Oh, God. First of all, hold on one second. Water main break, Georgia election. Let's just find that. So, this is what he's talking about. Okay, there we go. Get out of here. All right, that's fine. So this is fact check. Claim of Georgia vote spike for Biden after pipe burst counting site is false. Okay, so this is self-evident. We don't really have to cover this. We've covered this so many goddamn times. But quickly, there was the big dump of votes, right? The dump of Biden votes. These dumps of bullshit. Even said on January 6th, I think. Social media users using surveillance footage, poll workers from election day, Georgia reports about pipe leak to push unproven clause. Okay, breaking. This is what happened. This is when the dump of Biden votes happened. Reads a December 4th Facebook post by Hip Hop Patriot, obviously your site you want to go to for election integrity news. After they evacuated the building due to a red tsunami pipe break and stopped counting, video proof shows workers pulling. Okay. Pipe leak delays vote counting, no ballots damaged. This is pipe burst did take place at a ballot processing site at State Farm Arena. However, no ballots were damaged, according to election officials. The broken water pipe did cause a delay in Fulton County's ability to process thousands of absentee by mail votes. Fulton Commission Chairman Rob Pitts told the Journal-Constitution that the pipe burst occurred at 6:07 a.m. and was repaired within 2 hours. The video of the people, let's see if they push this. With a totes full of bags previously. Okay, this is the the totes full of totes my goats full of Georgia suitcase video is missing context. That's the thing from there. God damn, this is a noisy page. You guys need to get out of here. No, I don't want it. That's okay. Let's see if they have the footage on here. Yeah, so these are the people. I just spent 2 hours going through the State Farm surveillance video with Gabrielle Sterling and state investigators. We watched the chain of custody of the table and ballot boxes in question from 8 a.m. till midnight. The boxes were packed and sealed with observers in the room. Nothing improper. That's the people. Okay, from 8 a.m. till midnight. Okay, the folks that he's talking about that were packing stuff in. Where's our do they show the footage of... Anyways, the people with the totes that they're talking about, that was at night. It was in the evening. It was on election night. The water main break happened the next day at 6 a.m. Totally different days. Different days. Look at that. 1,000 plus in the chat room. Fantastic. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Good times. We're having a party over here. And don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe if you're on YouTube and stuff like God damn. And then if you're on Twitch, welcome. Glad to have you here. Don't forget to subscribe there as well. Or follow. You can also raid and host, I suppose, as long as you're a nice person. But anyways, here we go. Let's continue. He was telling us that two things that happened on 2 different days overlapped. So this is Donald Trump, astrophysicist, folding time for your enjoyment.
In addition, Brian Kemp, Raffensperger,
Barger.
your state leaders surrendered to Stacey Abrams. They totally surrendered to her. You know,
I just read that, and it's totally true. I've never seen it before. This is the Chris Matthewsing of the teleprompter.
he's afraid of Stacey Abrams. I don't understand that.
Well, apparently he's worried that you're going to endorse her.
Stacey,
Oh, wait.
You know, you have a great team, okay? We talked about that, but I saw him being interviewed by Laura Ingraham, who's fantastic. And he was interviewing, although it was a very soft
She certainly has good posture and good fast twitch muscles in her right arm and hand and wrist.
interview in this case, but she's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I don't say he's a man of large stature. I'm being very nice, okay? And he said, I love football. And she said, what position do you play? I'm an offensive tackle in high school. Now, even in high school, he was not an offensive tackle, okay? And somehow I remembered that. I don't know why.
Yeah, no one does. What the fuck are you talking about? Who gives a shit about how somebody's height in goddamn high school?
Herschel saying, what the hell was that all about, sir?
Oh, I'm creeping on a come up. That's absolutely true. You watch. Here we come. Mega worldwide. It's coming for your viewership.
He's not an offensive tackle. But your state leaders...
No, he's not. He's the Secretary of State of Georgia, the state you're in. Who gives a fuck what position he played on his high school football team?
to Stacey Abrams and allowed themselves to be bullied into a disastrous consent decree that effectively abolished signature verification and paved the way for massive fraud. And they don't want to do anything about it. They don't. I'll tell you, a couple of people do when they...
By the way, they have signature verification there. It's just ridiculous. What he means by signature verification is that people who are voting from home have to get their shit notarized. What he wanted was there had to be during the pandemic, there had to be someone else in the house that after you've been voting for years, you vote from home, it's your signature, but they had to have somebody there basically to witness it or put a notary stamp on it effectively so that you could fucking vote. That's what he basically wanted. He wanted somebody else there. Now, if you live alone in a pandemic, you got to go find somebody to watch you sign your fucking ballot when they can match your signature, which they do. What he meant with signature verification was they wanted another person there. At a time when either people lived alone or it was like especially single moms with their kids have minor children who do not qualify as a witness in this circumstance. That's how you do it. You set up these artificial standards that don't affect your voters because they're all going to show up on the day, right? But everybody else, because you know the mail-in vote's going to be heavily for your opponent, you make that as hard as possible.
And they're here right now, but they didn't want to do anything about it, and the agreement was never approved by the state legislature.
It doesn't have to. They already passed something a long time ago that deals with emergencies that happen during elections. They don't have to approve every fucking change. That's the whole point of an emergency plan. Because there wouldn't be time to be in session. And calling a session in an emergency, especially one like a pandemic or a fucking flood or a series of tornadoes that tear through the area. But if you want people to be able to vote in that current circumstance, we have to change it. We got to move some of the polling places. We got to add machines someplace. We got to open it up so that people can go to a different polling area if there's flooding and shit like that. But we have to call together the legislature to do it? No, they have an emergency response bill that gives the governor powers when there's a national emergency. Trump signed a national emergency order which gave all the governors the power to make those kind of changes because whatever their legislature gave them as extraordinary circumstance powers in any of this situation. This is so rudimentary.
Anyway, it wasn't even approved.
It doesn't have to be fucking approved.
Recently, it was reported, your state, this is in Arizona now.
Yeah, people were getting lost. Nobody knows who the fuck you're talking about.
is the great state of Georgia.
Well, it's good to remind yourself or whatever. Did they put a Post-it on top of the teleprompter?
It was reported that 43,000 absentee ballot votes were counted in DeKalb County that
DeKalb.
violated the chain of custody rules, okay? Now,
Oh, yeah? Did they? They violated the chain of custody rules? Were they fraudulent votes? Were they not real voters? Is this is your attempt to throw out the votes of 43,000 people because someone working with or for or in support of you ignored their post or something? Is that where we're going?
you have to remember that Georgia was decided by only 11,779 votes.
Oh, we remember because you asked for 11,800 votes or some shit. But for the record, I'm just going to go. I have to say that all of those votes you just mentioned, those 43,000 that were outside the chain of custody, those were all Trump mail-in votes. Thank you, Foggy. Prove me wrong. All of those votes were Trump votes. If you threw them all out, you would lose by 50,000. Prove me wrong. Why is the assumption that 100% of the, how about this? How about they're 50-50 and the margin is still 10,000?
So I only needed one more vote than that to win the election.
Yeah, but you didn't win that many votes.
We have many, many more votes than we needed to win the election.
Well, no, because you're also assuming that those votes, wherever they're from, are all for Biden. And that you could throw out people's legally executed votes.
Recently sent the Georgia Secretary of State a letter outlining the glaring issue, and I've never gotten a response.
Huh. Ghosted. It's got to be rough. They just swiped left and moved on.
I hear somebody said they're looking at me for questioning the election. That'll be an interesting one. Mm-hmm. Let's go after Trump because he's questioning the election. You know what?
No. Questioning isn't the problem. This is a game they play all the time. I'm just asking questions. This is like what fucking what's her name? The rapper who was just got, the dude with the horse balls or whatever. Like I forget, ivermectin balls. No, he got the vaccine. Anyways, not important. Yeah, Nicki Minaj, thank you. I'm just asking questions. There's no question in her fucking tweet. You're not just asking questions. You're asking for votes. You're asking for the head of the state to give you votes.
Won or lost, all I want is a fair election. That's all you want.
And you got one. Congratulations. Your cab is waiting.
But I have no doubt that we won, and we won big.
Well, that's because you're deluded. That's like, you might as well say, I have no doubt that I'm Napoleon and Jesus in the flesh. And?
Listen to these numbers. These are Georgia numbers.
Uh-huh. They're Georgia numbers.
These come from the state, they told me.
Yeah, they come from the state of Georgia. These are Georgia numbers.
Are you sure these numbers are right? They said they're right, so...
Yeah, they must be. Somebody said they're right. Right? They're right. Somebody told me they said they're from Georgia and they're right. Yeah, this is the decision-making process and the vetting of information that this asshole goes through. That's fucking amazing. Listen to this thought process.
The state, they told me.
Hold on, wait.
These are Georgia numbers, and these come from the state, they told me. I said, are you sure these numbers are right? They said they're right, so let me apologize if they're not.
Apology not accepted, fuck you.
But they are right.
No, they're not. I don't even know what they are, but the fact that you're going to put them up to me and that you're reading them out of the teleprompter, which is right here, which is where he's looking right there.
1,300 individuals in Georgia who moved more than 30 days before the November election to a different county in Georgia, but failed to re-register and vote in their current county of residence. That means their votes don't count, but they'll...
Well, no, it would mean the only vote that wouldn't count in their, and by the way, lots of Republicans and other people moved around. Again, I don't know why these would all be for Biden in the theory, but the only thing it would affect is perhaps their congressional representative. So you might have to have there's a chance that, I'm just saying there's a chance that Marjorie Taylor Greene actually lost the election if you use this standard. So I would suggest looking into it, but it has no effect on the presidential race specifically, or the senators. So, and also, bullshit.
Counted. There are 4,052 individuals who voted, but whose names do not appear on the Georgia registered voter list. Oh, that's a little bit of a...
Well, then how did they get a ballot from anywhere? Or do you, or when people do you have same day registration? Did they show up and they were like, I should be registered to vote? You're not. Oh shit, did I get kicked off? Yeah, you're not on the rolls. So, okay, well, you'll have to vote provisionally and then we'll count it if we need it. Again, who the fuck says these 4,000 are for Biden? They don't exist. But let's just, for the sake of argument, I'm going to guess these 4,000 people don't exist. I'm putting this out there, that these fantasy 4,000 voters that he's talking about are actually people who live in Florida who drove up to Georgia believing Trump's bullshit about you can just vote anywhere. They're not even going to stop you, and decided to vote in Georgia even though they live in Florida, and they all voted for Trump, and so he loses by 4,000 more. So take 4,000 more out of Trump's vote count.
Problem. There are 18,325 individuals in Georgia who voted, whose addresses are recorded on the U.S. Postal Service as vacant. They're vacant.
No, and he means vacant lots, and no, they're not. By the way, these are people who are in mobile homes. These are areas, a lot of the USPS has a block of where you send your mail to like just a giant mailbox at the edge of the motorhome park, but the rest of it is considered vacant land owned by the motorhome park, but they don't have a permanent recognition of residence in there. So you register in your lot there, which the actual motorhome park recognizes. And by the way, just dig down deep inside your brain and see if you can figure out who people who live in motorhomes in Georgia voted for. Just trailer park in general. Who do you think walked away with the trailer park vote this time? I mean, killed it. So again, he's full of shit. But let's just give him the benefit of the doubt that how many?
25 individuals in Georgia.
Hold on.
There are 18,325 individuals.
Okay, so strike 18,325 votes from Trump's count. Because I'll give him the benefit. Maybe there's 1,000 Biden supporters who live in trailer parks. But in general, if you're driving around a trailer park, and by the way, I'm from Kentucky, I can speak openly on this topic. If you're driving around trailer park territory and you see a political sign on the lawn, if they have one, or in the window or any of that shit, who do you think in general it's going to favor? I grew up in Peaks Mill, Kentucky. It's outside of Frankfurt, the capital. $17,325 votes taken out of Trump's count.
In Georgia who voted.
There's a woman down ill behind him.
On the Georgia registered voter list. Oh, that's a little bit of a problem. There are 18,325.
You mean the woman over there behind the dude in the red hat that dozed off?
Individuals in Georgia who voted, whose addresses are recorded on the U.S. Postal Service as vacant.
Oh, there. Is that what? Is that? Sorry. Is that what these folks are looking at? Is that what you're saying? A woman fainted. Clear, obviously from boredom, but luckily, thank God, but boredom is not fatal.
They're vacant. It's vacant. During the hand
Oh, this lady's leaning on that guy and is saying something, but I don't know if there's somebody in front of her.
falsified tally sheets were discovered showing unanimous votes.
Sorry, what the tally sheet said? What?
Hand recount, falsified tally sheets were discovered showing unanimous votes, and votes counted exclusively for Joe Biden. Ballot images obtained through a public records request revealed duplicated votes, which included at least 3,390 extra votes for Joe Biden.
Okay, let's take a look at that. Let's see. Let's just look up duplicated votes, Georgia. We've been through. He's not talking about one ballot containing right. This is solid. This is rock solid. Duplicate ballots found in Fulton County. Fulton County, a review of mail-in ballots in Fulton County made public under Georgia's new voting law revealed duplicates that appeared before a recount. Oh, before a recount. So the recount got rid of them. Okay. One ballot contained a write-in for hip-hop star Kanye West and actor Dwayne Johnson. So they voted for Kanye or The Rock. Okay. There's no indication that double count of ballots influenced the final vote tally for either President Donald Trump or Joe Biden. The duplicates would have actually given Biden 27 more votes if they were tabulated. But they weren't. Biden won Georgia by just over 12,000 votes. Okay, good. All right, cool. So duplicate ballots. So let's just say that Kanye and Dwayne Johnson both equally making an impact.
In Fulton County, 100,000 tally sheets for mail-in ballots were missing for months following the election. Oh, gee. I wonder how that happened.
I guess that they were trying to hide the fact that they were adding votes to your tally, trying to help you, and then they had to pony them up after a while.
Georgia officials also took $45 million from Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg to...
You mean to pay? They took it to pay for drop boxes.
Election-related activities.
Boo. Yeah, lock up Zuckerberg. Right. Knock yourself out.
Well, they should be looking at that. What is that all about? Over 90...
I mean, hey, what is the deal with drop boxes? Why do they call it Facebook?
percent of this funding.
Oh, they're fanning the lady who fell over?
They say...
Somebody come over and help this lady. She is passed out. She's right here. Yeah, eyes rolling back in her head. She's bored to shit. She said, I don't know, I can't hear what she's saying. Something about, I've heard all this shit, nothing changes. And then her eyes rolled back and she farted and now she's I think she's just asleep.
November election was given to Democrat areas of the state and used to boost Democrat voter turnout. What's that all about?
What is that all about? We're supposed to be able to stop Democratic voter turnout. We have no other plan.
Have a limit of like $5,200. He's given millions and millions of dollars to different states, not only Georgia, among other things.
Yeah, to the states. To a red state. Hey, dumbass, it could have helped you. Part of the fact that you were as close as you were, besides, of course, all the fact that all the fraud we've seen has been counted, and therefore it padded your vote another, 70,000 some odd votes, and you actually lost by close to 100,000. Never mind. But he gave it to the states, not to the party, and he gave it, in this case, to Brian Kemp and Raffensperger to dole out wherever they wanted. He had no control over where they would put the drop boxes if indeed they had them. He was literally trusting them to put them in the proper places. I wouldn't have.
That's for the famous drop boxes that you hear about, where a vast percentage of the votes in the unlocked and unguarded boxes were for Biden.
They weren't unlocked and unguarded. They had to be unlocked to take the votes out eventually.
They were for Biden, even though we know who most of them were for. According to
Really? You think most of the people who use drop boxes actually voted for you, but what happened? They took them out, they went and like refilled them out, re-signed them with the signature, put them back in the envelope, licked it, DNA'd it, risked 20 years in prison for every single one.
True the Vote, great group. At least 7% of the Dropbox vote was illegally trafficked. That's not
Illegally trafficked. Oh, well, since you were saying they were really for you. Oh, I see. So you paid for people to stuff the drop boxes and it still wasn't enough. I see.
92,000 votes in the Atlanta metropolitan area alone. That's 92,000. Remember, we're talking about a little more than 11,000.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but in Atlanta, a lot of Biden voters.
92,000. That's one of many categories.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, those again, we'll just assume that all 92,000 of those were the Trump voters because you were stuffing ballots trying to improve your position in Atlanta, which was not going your way.
In addition, a new investigation by True the Vote, very respected group.
Yeah, very respected, except by normal people.
Alleges a gigantic illegal ballot harvesting operation involving large numbers of people throughout the state. With all of these discrepancies.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you and Brian Kemp and Raffensperger tried to give you the state. They tried to help you, so you created all this. You were clearly, you were clearly arranging for ballot harvesting and that kind of stuff to pad your vote in the state because you were afraid you were going to lose it, and everything pointed to you losing the actual state. And then, after all, you got close, but you weren't able to. You paid for all these votes, and you had all these people working with the Republicans in charge of the state, and they tried to flip the election for you and failed. And now, since you lost, you're going to say, well, there was fraud, even though the fraud was there to benefit you legally. So,
and criminal acts. Governor Kemp and Raffensperger and your Attorney General, who unfortunately has not decided to get involved other than looking at people that are questioning the votes, aren't interested in the people that committed the voter fraud. They're only interested in me and others because I bring voter fraud to the forefront in order to save our nation from corrupt elections and to make sure that this never, ever happens again.
Yeah, it won't. I mean, you're not going to run in 2024. It's not going to happen. You're going to continue to decline and gack yourself up on some sort of drug cocktail every goddamn day. You're going to get more boring, more tiresome. More people are going to pass out from boredom. You're going to get more gross. And we haven't even talked about next year when, in an attempt to make yourself relevant in the midterms, you actually come out and say something, Access Hollywood level, pussy tape quality, and screw the Republican Party right at a crucial moment, and everybody gets mad at you all over again. And then, of course, when you don't leave the house and you do all these like weird call-in interviews for about 6 months, and then when everybody sees you, you look like 100 years older. Like that's the stuff that's going to happen next year and the year after that. So, I mean, we'll deal with it as it comes.
Never happens again.
Yeah, you're not going to run. I mean, because if you run, you can't have the super PAC money anymore. So, I think we're getting near the end of this nonsense, by the way.
Even the Fulton County DA, district attorney, is after me. But no one is willing to give us the information we want in Fulton County. And, Fulton County.
The information you want is that you actually won. And it's not going to happen.
Has a terrible reputation for...
terrible reputation for what?
And, Fulton County has a terrible a reputation for voter corruption.
Voter corruption? There is it kind of like is that like a contributing to the delinquency of no longer a minor?
Probably among the worst in the country. They say I'm being aggressive, but you have to be aggressive to weed out this horrible election corruption. You have to be aggressive. In truth, they're not after me. They're after you. I just happen to be in the way. That's what's really happening.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Yeah, it's totally, I mean, honestly, yeah, he's not going to make it to 2024. This is not happening. Worried about corruption. Exactly. Yeah, and by the way, this is I tweeted a thing, this guy, I think his name's Rick Chapman. I'm going to blow his name right now, but this YouTube video about what populism is, what actually ranks as populism, what qualifies as populism. And this is a key point of this, which is grievance on me, grievance on me, grievance on me. It's all about me. They're all me. But all these attacks on me are actually attacks on you. That's what this is. Yeah, no, Matt Gaetz borrowed it from him. This is now a standard. This is standard operating procedure for Republican scandals and bullshit. Yeah, Rex Chapman. Thank you, Frank and Smithberry.
Yesterday, we also got the results of the Arizona audit.
Yes, you did.
Which were so disgracefully reported by those people, right?
Yeah, it was terrible of them to actually report what was said and what was actually in the report. It's disgraceful. By the way, he's also pointing at Newsmax cameras.
There in the headlines claiming that Biden won.
He did win by more.
That Biden won are fake news and a very big lie. You know, they like to, do you ever notice when they write about that, they would say, while the election results are a big lie, every report.
That's not what anybody says. Is that what is, again, does he have like special contacts in?
They would say, while the election results are a big lie, every reporter, it's like, it's.
Yeah, that's every reporter says, while the election results are a big lie. Said no one ever? What are you talking about?
While the election results are a big lie, every reporter, it's just total misinformation.
Is it? You mean like saying misinformation? Let me let's just say somebody says all reporters say something, and then they say something that is gibberish, and insist that this is actually something that A, people have said, and B, makes fucking sense?
Wow, they're totally unfounded. Everything's unfounded, big lie, not correct.
Yes, it is.
Well, Trump has no reason to say this. I mean, we get piles and piles of information.
Show it, motherfucker. Show it. Why are you even giving a speech? If you have piles of shit, bring out, this is how you do it. And I don't want to help this asshole, but this is how I would do it if any of this was real. This is how Hal Sparks would handle this circumstance. I would have a rally like this, a few months after this thing, after we'd had our investigation and I found all this stuff. If I had lost like Gore lost and actually won Florida, I'd have a rally like this, put a giant desk that resembles the one in the Oval Office on there, and there'd be a giant, just people would bring me stacks of paper, and I would go, this is Gary Peters, and Gary voted this thing. Gary's dead. Clap. This is Sandra Jenkins, and Sandra Jenkins is 14 years old and from Guatemala, and she voted, and this is her picture, and this is a shot of her doing bang. Like, you just sit there. Don't even talk about the generalities of it. Fucking, I mean, case after you don't even have to go through all of it. After 100 of them, people would go, oh my God, there's a there. But he can't do any of it. Seriously, every time they do this shit, like even when Rudy was in front of all these, the state legislatures, like, motherfucker, why are you talking? Just read the dead people. Just sit up there. If there's that many, there's so many. Yeah, there's 16,000 people in Perry, Georgia. I know. Because he can rent a fucking field for cheap. He's a miser when it's his own money. But that's how you do it. There is no there. If there was, it'd be the easiest slam dunk ever.
Affidavits by the thousands and
Yeah, read them. Thousands and thousands of affidavits in the book Peril, in that chapter about Lindsey Graham getting memos from Rudy Giuliani and giving them to his attorney. Dude goes, he keeps talking about affidavits, and Lindsey Graham literally says, I can get an affidavit tomorrow that says the world is flat.
It's a disgrace.
Read one. Read one. Fucking read one. Read a paragraph from one of them. Please. You got thousands and thousands. There got to be one in there that's like, oh, shit, man. If we just read this little piece, is done. Right? How easy would this be? A poll worker in this place where it's going to witness this kind of thing, they signed an affidavit to this, they took pictures with their phone of this circumstance, blah, blah, blah. Like that. Do it. It's been months. Do it.
We won on the Arizona forensic audit yesterday at a
No, you didn't. Wait, at a level no one's even ever seen before? Is that where he's going?
We won on the Arizona forensic audit yesterday at a level that you wouldn't believe. And
yes, this is true. You won at a level I would not believe. First of all, I do not believe you won because you lost. And I don't consider losing by more to be winning at all.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to read off for you. Their results right from their page.
Yeah, read it. Let's just read it right from their page.
These are very talented people.
Yeah. Have you heard the Cyber Ninjas clarinet concerto? It's chef's kiss.
Yet it's so difficult because the Washington Post, the New York Times, and virtually every mainstream media source, CNN, forget it, they're so dishonest. By the way, their ratings are down 81%. Would you say that?
Yes, because we are not white-knuckling our fucking country anymore. Now people can go back to watching fiction and going to shit like Comic-Con and doing things again once we get past the Delta variant, but nobody's going, fuck, man. Well, I'm going to wake up this morning and he's going to say that anybody with Mexican heritage who's lived here less than 65 years has got to be report to a camp or something. Like we were all just white. You know when you're driving on a highway and it's late at night and you're already tired, and you go through one of those areas where they've taken a 3-lane road down to one road and they're using the concrete barriers, and you feel like a fucking X-Wing fighter in a Death Star where you're like, God damn it, my car, your little car suddenly feels gigantic and you're like, I'm going to hit the sides. God damn it. That was 4 years of Trump. Now we're like, is the whole place asphalt? I'm taking my hands off the wheel. Auto drive.
And likewise, CNBC, and likewise those crooked newscasts. And by the way, Greg...
Yeah, and likewise, those crooked newscasts.
NBC, and likewise those crooked newscasts. And by the way, Greg Gutfeld is #1 in the evening now, and he's on cable.
Yeah, he got the #1 spot because all the other late night hosts were on vacation and playing reruns. They're all back now. That won't be the book in October. Dummy. I won late night in the summer, when all the late night hosts are on vacation.
And he's great.
Yeah.
He's #1. He's beating because people, they're not funny. These people aren't funny. Frankly, I think they're sick.
Well, yeah, of course. Biden's like Han Solo. Let's blow this thing and go home. Exactly.
There's nothing funny about it, but you have a cable person beating all these guys with all that money. I hope Fox is going to pay Greg what they're making. Add it up together. That's what I did on The Apprentice. I said, I have higher ratings than all these big stars on The Apprentice. I said to NBC at the time, they loved me so much during The Apprentice.
It's weird because they weren't going to re-up it. It's one of the reasons why you ran for president as a stunt, essentially. That's why you filmed the whole thing, and you hired actors to be like Trump supporters behind you. It was a PR stunt to not lose your job.
They went bad. Well, they didn't want me to run. They said, please, another 3 years, another 5, we'll do whatever. They did not want me to run.
Yeah, that's why. NBC didn't want you to run because it was such a hit. Not because they just spent years with you and knew you were a fucking maniac.
You won't win. Why would you give up a primetime show that's doing so well? And then I did it. And
why would you give up a primetime show with declining viewership?
Look what happened. My life
I mean, not everybody can leave their shows when they're, go out on top. When you're still the number one show. I mean, it only happens to a few of us. But very few people have 3 shows that are the number one show. Just saying.
Simple. My life was so simple, I should have just, but
yes, it was simple. In deference to you and your sons, and Baron excluded, of course.
You know what? What we've done is so important. What we've exposed is so important. And what we're doing and what we're going to do is going to be the most important of all.
Yeah, well said. Jesus. Mm-hmm. What I've did and done and am doing and will do and have done and do every do I do is going to be great. Just, I love how he ends these like, these are supposed to be these big like flourishes, and like every time he ends it's like, God, fuck. Every sentence, this is what's beautiful about this. And folks, I want to remind you of this. While he's, yes, yes, election lies and he's full of shit and he's a dangerous psychopath and his followers are lunatics and many of them have violent tendencies. Yeah, let's put that aside for a second and understand that every fucking sentence in this teleprompter and in all of these speeches reminds him every 15th word that he's a loser. That's why I love these rallies so much now. That's why these are the best Trump rallies ever. Because at the end of every sentence is, that's why I lost. And so even when he's like, we did it and we're gonna win, and shit. And that's why his face goes to that every fucking time.